The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brittany Boston, and I am from the Illinois Center for Specialized Professional Support. Welcome to the webinar for the funding opportunities pages on Illinois WorkNet. Before we get started, I do want to take care of a few housekeeping items. Just so you're aware, the webinar is being recorded and will be shared out at a later date for view. You are also in listen-only mode, and we are asking that questions be typed in the chat box, and there will be time for questions at the end of the presentation, so you can also raise your hand and we can unmute you if you would prefer to ask that way. But with that, I will be handing it over to David, Laura, and Tammy from Illinois WorkNet.
Thank you very much. So good morning, everybody. My name is David Garvey, and I'm a content manager with Illinois WorkNet. And joining me are Tammy Stone and Laura Dom from the Department of Commerce. And today, I'll be providing a demo of the funding opportunities pages on Illinois WorkNet to show you all how to get to these pages and what's included on the pages as well. So on the screen share here is the funding opportunities landing page. And in addition to this link up here, there's a few different ways you can reach this page. On the main Illinois WorkNet homepage, illinoisworknet.com, there's a link to this page under the Illinois Initiative section. It'll open this right here. And additionally, on the WIOA Works site within WorkNet, under the main menu, there's the option for funding opportunities. And then there's also a short URL we have, which is illinoisworknet.com/NOFO, which will bring you to this page. And this landing page and the subpages were put together to have a central location for all things grant related and to streamline the understanding in different parts about the grant process, including information and resources. So this landing page is broken up into a few different sections. We have this grant topic slider, and each of these topics listed here have their own page, which we'll look at shortly. There's a current listing of notice of funding opportunities that has summary information with a link to learn more about that funding opportunity. The recent funding opportunities section here lists funding opportunities that have passed, and they link to that specific grant page of more information about that funding opportunity. And then there's also a page that's archival that'll list the previous notice of funding opportunities that have been published. We also have this About section, which discusses the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunities role in the grant process, along with what is a NOFO, Notice of Funding Opportunity, and how to qualify through the GATA portal. And additionally, in this section, you can subscribe to the NOFO bidders list. When NOFOs are published, there's a page about that NOFO on Illinois WorkNet, and we'll send out an email to those on our list. And for the time being, you can subscribe to this list by sending an email to info@illinoisworknet.com. In the future, we'll have an entry form that can be filled out, but for the time being, you can just send a email to this email address, and we'll get you added to that list. And with this, you can refer potential and current grantees to these resources. And we also have a link to search for grant opportunities with the Illinois Catalog of State Financial Assistance, the CSFA search, and a brief PowerPoint with tips for responding to a solicitation. So that's the overview of the landing page, and to get into more specifically within each of these sections, grant topics. So like I said before, each tile here links to a page about that specific topic. on this page, you'll see on all these grant sub-pages, you'll see a link back to the funding opportunities homepage and a link to the following page, the next item in that grant topics slider. And so on subsequent pages, you'll also be able to navigate back and forth for the different options within the grant topics slider. And these sub-pages, they'll include some introductory text about that specific page. This one is Grants 101, and we have the grant life cycle, and links to the pre-award phase, the award phase, and post-award phase, the grant checklist, the GATA resource library, the grants glossary, and GATA FAQs. And similarly for the pre-award phase page, some introductory text, funding opportunity announcement, registering to apply, completing your application, the application review process, initial screening of application, the programmatic review and assessment of applications, and financial review. And each section, each page is broken out this way, linked with additional information about each subtopic and links to additional resources as well. So under the current notice of funding opportunities, we have the name of the NOFO, introductory summary information about this NOFO, and a link to visit the NOFO page. The NOFO pages are broken out like this. We'll have the title at the top. We have some background information that includes summary information about the NOFO, submission dates, and how to submit the proposals. And there's sections for program design, funding information, eligible applicants, and over here we have NOFO materials, which includes PDFs, Excel downloads of applications, budget templates, and other documents. There's also a resources section with supplemental references and information, including WIOA, GATA, and other resources as well. And then finally on this grant-specific page, we have a section for informational sessions, and this will include dates of meetings, recorded webinars, and any documents from that webinar as well. The recent funding opportunities also links to the a grant page similar to what we just saw, for example. And the archive page, open this up here, includes links to those, to the previous funding opportunities, to the specific page for that grant, and includes high-level information for the populations to be served, eligible applicants, the program links, a brief description about that notice of funding opportunity, and then a link to that NOFO page. And that would cover the high-level demonstration of the funding opportunities landing page on Illinois WorkNet. And I think we can open up to any questions.
We don't currently have any questions typed up, and I'm not seeing any hand raises.
Well, if there are no questions, you can send an email to, or if you have a question later, you can also send the question to this the workNet email address, info@illinoisworknet.com. But if there are currently no questions in the chat or on the call, then I think we can maybe end this a bit early. Unless Tammy or Laura, was there anything you maybe wanted to add?
Were you going to cover the other pages other than just the NOFO pages, like the Grants 101, pre-award, award, post-award?
Yeah, we can cover those.
Okay.
We did have one question come through. Did you mention where future NOFOs might be found?
Future NOFOs, when NOFOs are published, we'll add them to this page and send out an email to those on the bidders list. But as far as looking ahead, I don't believe there's this, you can use the CSFA search to see grant opportunities in Illinois, but as far as looking forward, I'm not.
Yeah, we don't publish NOFOs until they've been through our director's office and approved. So what you're seeing under the current NOFOs are those that are open and available to apply for. There may be some NOFOs that we're working on that are coming out in the future, but those are not going to be published until they have gone through the entire approval process. And I do strongly recommend, if either for yourself or if you know somebody that's interested in receiving information, to send that information. Like David said, there's going to be eventually a form that you can fill out to get on a bidders list. But it is important that if you want to get this information to get your name on the list.
Okay, so in the meantime, did cover the pre-award phase page earlier. So moving forward, there's the award phase page, which has information on award negotiation, mandatory disclosure and conflict of interest, program risk assessment, notice of state award, and the grant agreement. The post-award phase has info on reporting, audits, and the closeout step. We also have a getting started checklist page, which has a few different steps to familiarize yourself with the grant cycle and determine your eligibility for applying and how to apply. So I have a grant policy and state program priorities page. Includes information on the WOE policy, GATA, which is the Grant Accountability and Transparency Act, policy information, key legislation for grants. The program design page includes information on veterans' priority of service, priority populations, career pathways, and the service delivery model components.
We did have one more question come through. Will there be another talent pipeline NOFO?
I believe that the talent pipeline, they are discussing it at this point, but I'm not sure that they've even begun the portion of the process to develop it yet. So I'm assuming that the answer is yes, there will be one for this year, but I'm not privy to how far along it is in the process.
Have the program management page, which talks about career planning and case management, federal guidance, WIOA, adult and dislocated worker services, WIOA youth services, and includes some additional resources as well. Financial management page has some information and resources for uniform guidance, cost categories, direct and indirect costs, the indirect cost rate negotiation, some additional resources, and some text on sub-recipients. The eligible grant applicants page discusses who is eligible to apply for a grant, demonstrating effectiveness, registering an organization or entity with information on how to, or what you need and the steps you need to take, which is obtain a DUNS number, register with SAM, check the Illinois Secretary of State, the registering with grants.illinois.gov, and then a fiscal review. The eligible participants to be served includes information on WIOA participant programs, adult, dislocated worker, youth, incumbent workers. And there's a table here for WIOA participants eligibility. And we also have some eligibility webcasts and more information on participant training programs. The performance and deliverables page includes information on WIOA performance measures, performance indicators, along with e-learning modules and more information on grant specifics. The grant systems and tools page includes federal tools such as the automated standard application for payments, the commercial and government entity or CAGE code, the common data element repository library, disasterassistance.gov, DHS, Dun and Bradstreet, Payment Management System, research.gov, the SAM, or the System for Awards Management, and also beta.sam.gov. And in the federal tools, there's also the Tracking Accountability and Government Grant Systems, or tags, as well as usaspending.gov. And below the federal tools, we have state systems and tools for pre-award and award phase, and also for the post-award phase. The oversight process and reporting page discusses the different types of oversight. Quarterly reports, standard grant reporting forms, and supporting documentation guidelines. And then we saw this page earlier with previous funding opportunities. There is also an FAQ page. You can use the filter to select, see questions relating to general NOFO questions, or more specific NOFOs, I believe, as well. And then the last topic page that was in the grant slider is the grants glossary. It has definitions on terminology or acronyms you may see that are related to funding opportunities in Illinois. And if you're looking for terminology for the federal level, there's a link to grants.gov, the glossary that they have as well. So those are all the grant topics pages that can be found in this slider here at the top of the funding opportunities landing page. Are there any other questions?
We did have a question regarding the apprenticeship expansion NOFO and if that would be offered again this year.
On the apprenticeship expansion, my understanding is that just wrapped up and they have or will be shortly announcing the entities that have been awarded grants. I'm not sure whether or not they will issue any further NOFOs this year or not. That I would suggest that you contact John Barr at the Department of Commerce to see about any future funding opportunities.
That is currently all the questions that we have, and I am not seeing anyone raising their hands.
Can we ask if the attendees feel like these pages will be helpful, whether to entities that will come in for grants for their local boards, local board members, or anyone else? Or is there something that they really like? Is there something that they would like to see more of or something different? And if you could just put that information in the chat, then we'll get that information and try to answer it or build on the existing platform.
And we'll give everyone a few seconds here to go ahead and type any comments or thoughts up. Seeing that the webinar is very helpful. We have a comment, someone just started in May of 2019, so having these resources available will be very helpful for myself. One individual says, I would, yes, they will be helpful, but I'm sure there will always be questions. And it appears that those are all the comments and questions that I have coming through at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate everyone's feedback.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all so much for joining the webinar and have a wonderful day.